Hey everyone, my name is Perry and welcome back to the cassette phase. So a little bit different type of video today. As you may or may not have seen previously, I have a closet here in the den which I have converted into primarily VHS storage. It's also a regular storage closet, but its main purpose is to essentially be a miniature Blockbuster, but in a closet. Well, I have accumulated a few new tapes over the past couple of months, which I need to integrate into the closet. Because when I first set that whole thing up, and I may be slightly regretting this decision at this point, but I put all of those movies in alphabetical order. So whenever I get new tapes, I have to move and shift everything around in order to fit them in. And I was about to do that a few days ago, but I stopped and I thought, maybe this would be something fun to do with you guys here on the channel. Because those are some of the types of videos that I like to watch myself. People sorting and organizing their various collections for whatever reason. And I told myself when I first started this, I should make the types of videos that I like to watch, and hopefully some others will come along for the ride. And I know that type of content isn't for everyone, and I totally respect that. But if you want to join me while I organize my VHS closet and maybe talk about some movies as we go along, then come hang out. Okay everyone, let's head on over to the closet here. And if you haven't seen it yet, let me just give you a quick look around here. As I mentioned, it's still a messy storage closet. Well, kind of messy. Toys on the wall, some posters and things. Just some various fun stuff. But as you can see, the main attraction are the VHS tapes. Got some sports and concert stuff up top, some cartoons and kids shows on the next one. And then the rest are all movies. So the first thing I have to do every time I start this process is remove, all the little knickknacks that I have that are kind of blocking some of the tapes. So let's do that first. I won't bore you with the whole thing. We'll kind of run this like an 80s movie montage. Okay, now that we have that mostly cleared out, all we really have left are these 10 movies that I have to integrate into the alphabetized shelves here. And each time I do this, I have to essentially create space for 10 tapes, right? So I've got some room here for probably 2 or 3. Same thing there, probably 2 or 3. I've got some placeholders, like this Teen Wolf cup that I'll probably have to move. Same thing with this Smurfs cup. It'll probably have to find a new place. And then got room for about 2 there on the end. And that's it. Whatever we don't have room for, I have to make the tough decision of which tapes are going to be relegated to the storage tubs down at my feet here. you know, I'll still have them. I'll still have access to them and can still watch them, of course. They just won't be on the main display. So I'm going to go ahead and get started on shifting some of these now. Okay, so what I've kind of started doing, I went to the very end and started shifting them over to make room for the one that comes last in the alphabet of the new tapes, which in this case is Tough Turf. So I shifted everything over down here at the end and made room for Tough Turf right here next to Turner and Hooch. And then I'm gonna look and see what's the next tape. Starship Troopers. So that's where I will have to shift everything until I get to where that tape would go. So I'm going to start doing that now. Almost there. Let's move Super Mario Brothers here. Do you guys like that movie, or do you think it's terrible? I actually kind of enjoy that. Supergirl is another movie that a lot of people think is just awful, but I enjoy it. Summer Rental, Stripes, Street Fighter, Steel Magnolias, Staying Together, which is kind of an obscure one. Anybody ever seen that one? It's actually a pretty good movie. And then we've got the Star Wars tapes. So Starship Troopers will go here. Come on down. Great 90s over-the-top sci-fi right there. And it has a new home. All right, I'm going to continue shifting until I get to... Oh, I won't have to go far because it's just Stand By Me. And as I was doing that last section, I encountered a question. I think I fixed it. So Star Wars, with star being an individual word, that would come first in the alphabet, like alphabetically ordering, ahead of things like Stargate, Starman, and Starship Troopers. Is that right? I think I have that right. Anyway, we now have a home for one of the best movies of the 80s. Stand By Me. Based on a great Stephen King story. And I've got an upcoming video about a Stephen King book that I'm about to finish, and then I'm going to watch the movie, and we'll do kind of like a double review of the book and the movie. All right, more shifting. Got to make room for My Girl 2 and The Lost World. Be right back. Okay, so after doing some consolidating and some shifting, I have a pretty good, gap here, which is a good thing because I still have 6 more tapes to work in. But I was able to get My Girl 2 into its new spot, right between My Girl 1, of course, and My Stepmother is an Alien, which is a really fun movie, actually. So the next one we got to make room for, I'm just going to call this The Lost World. I'm not going to make it with the J's, Jurassic Park. The way it's titled there on the spine, that's kind of what I'm going to go with. Yep. So back to shifting. I'm not including you guys on all of this just because it's repetitive for one, and for two, it's a little bit tricky to do with one hand sometimes while I hold the camera. We're doing okay right now. So are you all seeing any movies that you had forgotten about? If you had a Friday night and you were in and you were ordering pizza and you were going to sit down and put in a tape, which movie are you putting in out of the ones you've seen so far? Okay, we're at Look Who's Talking. So let's grab Lost World. that cool lenticular cover that everybody's probably seen. This has got to be one of the most common tapes out there, but I still think it's cool. And also, we'll go ahead and put in Lord of the Rings, which seems like a really kind of like a modern movie to have on VHS, but I know this movie's older than I'm probably remembering. Yep, so I'm going to continue to shift, and the next one will be The Legend of Sleepy Hollow, which is really cool. You know, old Disney animated feature that's really fun to watch at Halloween. So I'll be back. Okay, so Sleepy Hollow has a home right next to Legend and Lethal Weapon. You know, by doing it alphabetically and not by genre, you get these great little unique miscellaneous runs of movies like Legend, League of Their Own, Lawnmower Man, Last Unicorn, Last Boy Scout, Last Action Hero. Love it. I'm going to try to move you slowly here so you don't get dizzy. But now we're back to this row where I'm going to add the 90s version in full color of Lassie. And this can actually come all the way to the end here. So I can start shifting Land Before Time. You know, I was just thinking about this movie the other day, The Land Before Time. Is it just me, or did they make our kids' movies back in the 80s and 90s just like super sad? You know, I was thinking they don't really do that anymore, but then I got to thinking about, well, we just took the kids recently to see the second Inside Out movie, and it had some sad stuff in it. I mean, I know it's Pixar, so that's pretty common for them. And it wasn't quite as sad as the first Inside Out. It wasn't as bad as something like Up or Toy Story 3. But, you know, I guess for every Land Before Time and Never Ending Story and Lion King, this generation of kids have things like Up and Inside Out to watch. So, I don't know. What do you think? Trying to pack these in because space is going to be limited. I only have 2 tapes left to add, and I've got plenty of room to do that, as you can see there. So let me do some more shifting and I'll be right back with you. All right, after a bunch of shifting, we are done. We have 1 tape left to place. And I'll be honest with you guys, Beetlejuice was, it's a movie that I've had forever, but last Halloween, it basically lived in my VCR. I watched it over and over again, just had it going in the background while I was working, and I honestly forgot that it was in the VCR whenever I did one of these shifting everything around sessions. So its spot got kind of taken, and that's why it's been just kind of out since then. But here we go, and we're done. So let me step back and show you the updated final product. And I'm going to put some of the knickknacks back in and be right back with you for one final look. All right, there it is. I don't like to keep a lot of things on the shelves in here, obviously, so I want to be able to get to the tapes pretty easily without having to move a whole bunch of stuff. Yeah, I think the next time I, accumulate another stack of tapes, I'm going to have some tough choices to make. Some of these movies that, I may not love or that I don't really watch much, they'll wind up in a tub. I keep some tubs right down here in the floor where I can get to them pretty easily. But yeah, we're just about full now. All my little placeholders are gone, and every shelf is pretty much packed. And I know it's only Tuesday, but it's not too early to start thinking about Friday, right? Which movie are you going to take and watch on a Friday night? Pretend you're going to make it a blockbuster night. Lots of good choices. And like I mentioned in the previous video, probably my 15 to 20 favorite or most viewed VHS tapes are out on the shelf in the main room here in the den. So these are just kind of like the other 300 or whatever runner-ups, but yeah, I keep some of those out there and some of the clamshell stuff out there on the shelf too, which I can show you in another video, but there it is. Thanks for hanging out. And there we are. So if you're still watching, thank you. I appreciate you hanging out while I reorganized the miniature blockbuster. And now we can return to some of our, more regularly scheduled programming. But I can't promise that there won't be another similar video here in a couple of months. But if you're up for anything and everything nostalgic, consider subscribing. But for now, and as always, relax, enjoy life, and be kind. We'll see you in the next one.